everybody, it's Diana Van Blaricom, your Vice President of ERP Strategy here at ROI Healthcare Solutions, and we are finally back on the couch. You can see it behind me there. And we're here today for another couch conversation, and joining me today is Carol Mortimer. Hi, Carol.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Hey, thanks for joining me today. You are on ROI's supply chain team, and we're going to chat a little bit today about a couple of features that are really kind of key and purposeful, I think is the word I would use, that are kind of a game changer for some folks in supply chain, right? So we're talking about strategic sourcing and supplier portal. And what I want to do is just maybe spend a little bit of time, in your expertise. You've been doing this for a long time. How long have you been doing this with the Infor stuff?
For Infor, I have over 25 years of consulting with Infor. I've also consulted with process improvements in supply chain, re-engineering and turnaround projects. And of course, I'm certified and have implemented all of Infor loss and procurement products.
Awesome.
So I've been doing I've been experienced in healthcare supply chain for over 35 years. So because I've actually worked in a hospital in supply chain, OR, I've been everywhere.
Yeah, so the struggle is real, right?
Yes, the struggle is real.
The struggle is real. Well, for all of our friends out there who are in these organizations and working in the supply chain rules, can you tell us a little bit about what is strategic sourcing and the supplier portal?
Okay, well, strategic sourcing is a module within the Infor system that is used to set up, analyze, maintain all normal and complicated bidding events. It provides a tool for requesting bids and quotes, awarding those events as it keeps all the information like documents and stuff together so it can all be tracked. It moves the completed awarded events to other modules within the system like contract management or even a purchase order. And it is an entire storage area for all gathered sourcing information. And with it, you can use Supplier Portal, and Supplier Portal allows your suppliers to access the Infor system through a browser so they can register themselves or you can register for them. They can respond to events, update their supplier information, add tax information. They can upload their 1099 data to keep your vendor and supplier data accurate. Suppliers can look up information that relates to their own, the contracts that you've awarded them, purchase orders you've created with them, receipts of those purchase orders, invoicing, payments, items. It also integrates with item lifecycle management, where recall and safety notifications can be entered by suppliers. I'm just touching base.
Yeah. No, the product item lifecycle management is really cool because for those of you that are interested in item lifecycle management, Ben Hoagland on our team actually did some little videos. So more of this kind of stuff. He jumps into the application and shows it off a little bit. There's a two-part piece there because there's two pieces to it, right? There's the recalls and then there's the item add workflows that really kind of help keep your catalog in order.
Exactly. And it just eliminates a lot of that, manual process.
Yeah, which we love. We love our automation. The automagic button, right? So why should a healthcare organization make implementing and utilizing these applications a priority?
Well, because sourcing products can be, as you know, an enormous amount of burden on the staff, whether it's your buyers or your sourcing and contract administrators. These products can accommodate the requirements of the organization and procuring all of those supplies and services. With strategic sourcing and supplier portal, it delivers the ability for organizations to incorporate best practice. And it's just an amazing tool designed to simplify the whole process.
Yeah, and I think that's important. We see a lot of organizations trying to, quote, standardize, right? I'm using little finger quotes because it's always a little subjective.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Right. But what we want people to try to leverage the automation, leverage what they can from the technology. But really, I think the fact that a lot of organizations operate in chaos, right? Just COVID and everything else that happened, wherever we can standardize and truly put a good process in place and something that is going to, really, we say standardize, there's an expectation of, I know what the process is because we have a standard process, right? And anytime you can do that, I think when people understand what's happening, the systems are just a tool, right? And your end users have to know, when I push the button, what happens, right?
It's the easy button. It's always the easy button, right?
Yeah. What happens when I click submit? Where does it go? So the features and benefits that these organizations can really leverage. I mean, what are some of the, we talked a little bit here about some of the cool things, but what are some of the things that you see our clients really taking advantage of and just kind of, embracing to help them in these processes? Are there some things that really kind of come to mind that are super key and really kind of cool?
Well, it really empowers the organization to reduce costs because, you're decreasing manual task and you're better managing, the sourcing of acquisition of goods and services. I think it also increases supplier participation. If you have paper-based processing, it eliminates many of those paper-based, bids and requests for proposals, requests for quotes. And it has online notifications, which is awesome because you can respond to a supplier if they have inquiries and questions, and you can even notify them or ask them questions. And you have all that communication stored in the system. So, and it's all tracked, it's all there, and it doesn't go anywhere. It gives suppliers, access to bid invitation details and bid submission through a really, secure and easy to use tool. I think it really improves how you connect with your suppliers. And, with all this, I think it really drives an immediate and long-term, cost savings for the organization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's key because that's what we're talking about, right? When we look at the leaders in these organizations, whether it's the supply chain leaders, when we talk to organizations about some of these ERP improvements, we're really talking at that executive level because these are the guys that are trying to keep the lights on and make sure things are running. And then we've got everybody in the front lines that's executing, right? So when we look at the supply chain leaders and the CEOs and the CFOs and, all of the C's, they're really concerned about some of the things that you've just been talking about, right? Is how do we get to where we have transparency, we pass an audit and compliance. But I think the number one thing that everybody's thinking about these days is how do we control costs? And, a lot of these organizations are running lean and mean already. It's tough to find people. I mean, we can talk all day about, resourcing and hiring and all of those challenges. But we've got to find the ability to have more time with the people we have and the work that they're doing. And the only way to do that is to bring in some automation, right?
Exactly.
So what can people expect from an implementation perspective? I mean, what are some of the tasks that they would have to do during the implementation as far as data and setup and, those types of things?
With implementation, with all projects and stuff, I think that they need to decide what their project vision is and what they want to achieve and what their expected goals and outcomes, they want from this product and, the project itself. What resources can be committed? If they don't have the people to implement it, then, it's really important that those resources, they have those there that, that they can learn the product. How much and what type of change the culture can tolerate, and very important, they need to conduct structured training and then, do a deep dive into the product to make sure it works for them. They need to plan for, using the automation, like in-for process automation, to tailor and customize the already delivered approval process flows. They need to manage any competing IT and supply chain projects, and then I think, I think these tasks can promote, a successful implementation when they decide to do that.
So what are some of the things that people can do today to prepare for an implementation? So if we say, here's some pre-work you can do, is it, gathering data? Is it, mapping? What are if we were to say, okay, guys, we're going to start a project in 2 months, 1 month, whatever that time frame is, what can folks do today so that they're ready to get started?
Always. What can you do today? Always. Yes. Master data. Make sure that the master data, like your vendor master, et cetera, is up to date and cleansed. I mean, you'll be linking suppliers to active vendors, if they're already existing vendors in your system. They need to look up, like their item master setup. Do they have the, tables like commodity codes set up, and what commodity code levels you want to, go with? If, the system itself for strategic sourcing facilitates up to 6 levels, but I mainly see like 2 levels in healthcare.
Right, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, exactly. They need to determine, what they'll allow their suppliers to access and see in the system. In this case, the suppliers can actually enter their invoices for you. So it's not a complete process, but, the payables have to complete it, but they, have that entry already. So that, relieves some data entry on your AP staff. So you need to, select what you want to allow them to see, but, you also need to remember the benefits of allowing them to view, all that information in the system, because it's there,
Like self-service.
Yeah, they don't need to call you anymore. They can see, if they can see if their, order has been received, and if it's, where the invoice is, has it been paid? They need to think about, existing database tables, because those database tables need to be built within the system that, some of it's shared with other modules like contract management and stuff. They need to ensure that they meet all their, business requirements related to sourcing events like terms and conditions. And in that case, you might need to include your legal department to make sure that the following requirements of your organization are met, things like that.
Yeah, no, that's good. And you mentioned item master cleansing and vendor master cleansing, and I think those are 2 of the things that we do
the biggest,
right?
Yeah.
On the HR side, it's jobs and positions, right? We always say, hey, is this clean? And people, it's the 2 camps. It's like, oh, it's a mess, or oh, it's perfect. And we get in there and we're like, is it? And it really comes down to, it'll never be perfect.
Out.
Yeah, that's right. Garbage in, garbage out. And it'll never be perfect, but you want it to be good, right? So get rid of the duplicates, make sure you have all the data elements you need, tax IDs, all that good stuff.
Exactly.
And that's a discipline, right? So I always say it's like going to the gym. You got to show up every day and do a little bit to see any improvement.
Hush, hush, hush. We're not talking about the gym today.
It's okay. I haven't been there either. But well, thanks. I wanted to just thank you for spending some time with me today and our little couch conversation here. I think that these are 2, so if you're on Cloud Suite or you're thinking about Cloud Suite, from a supply chain perspective, if you haven't already implemented strategic sourcing and supplier portal, or maybe you implemented it and maybe it's not leveraged, right? We see some of that too. So there's ways that we can help with that. And I think the benefits for these 2 are huge. We want to make sure that everybody's using it. So if you have any questions, you want to learn more, you can go to roihs.com. And you can check out there. You can reach out to us and we can get in contact with you. You can email me at dvb@roihs.com and we'll get back to you. Or, hey, if you got a cup of coffee in the morning and you just want to warm up your day, go to roihs.com and dig around for the thought leadership. And you could watch Ben's video on item lifecycle management. We'll be there eventually with this video, and there's a whole lot of other great stuff for our healthcare folks to just kind of warm up your day and learn a little bit more about how we can help you. So thanks again for joining me, Carol.
Thank you for having me. It's
Thanks.
been fun. Bye-bye.